Aloha everybody, Money Shot here and welcome to Hawaii Crap Shooters. In this video, I'll be sharing with you the 3 things that every crap shooter should know. Enjoy. So let's get right into it. So the first thing you need to know as a craps player is proper money management. What I mean by that is you need to have a good budget that would say last you a full table. So whatever your betting strategy is or whatever you're betting per player should be approximately 10 times of what you would normally bet on one person, excluding yourself. Obviously, if you're a dice controller, you'd be betting more on yourself, which again, you would calculate that into your bankroll as well. So proper money management is extremely important. You'll get those flashy guys coming in, showing their money, flashing their grands and buying in black chips and spreading them across the whole table. And guess what? 20 minutes later, all their money is back into the casino rack. Why? Poor money management. So that's the first thing you're gonna be needing to know as a craps player. One thing that distracts money management is the comp game. So in my earlier career, I used to play a certain level because I wanted to get comps. Casino comps come in the form of free rooms, free meals. I even got my airfare reimbursed at some casinos, get tickets to shows, you know, all of that good stuff. But in order to get those, you're gonna have to bet a certain average bet every time and they'll rate you. That's why they have all these player cards. They just want to rate you. They want to make sure you are risking a certain amount in order to give you the comps. So that can easily trick you into misusing your budget. So don't get caught up in all that comps. The crap table's odds are totally against you as a player. So the higher they make you bet, the more chances the casino can take your money. So that is the hook. They want you to obviously put more money on the table so that they get more chances of getting your money back. Also the length of time. So the length of time is required to get comps. So you're gonna have to be playing about 4 hours a day, average, just to get a certain level of comps. Because again, the longer you play, the more chances the casino has to get your money. So don't let the comp game mess your proper money management up. Couple tips about proper money management is make sure you already have a set budget for each player before you come into the table, and don't get frustrated. You're gonna get those 0.7 out, 0.7 out, 0.7 out back to back to back. Don't let that distract you. You have budgeted for those. Don't let your emotions get involved. Don't try to chase and start doubling up your bet. Stay disciplined. Stick with your bankroll and you should last the entire table. And hoping, you know, if you do get a good roll when you get the dice, guess what? You're back again ahead. So don't let your emotions get involved. Another tip is not only having a session budget, but a daily budget. What I mean by that is, like, if you're gonna be staying at Vegas for, let's say, 5 days, and you're gonna be budgeting 2 grand a day, that's 10 grand your entire stay. So 1 grand for the session in the morning, 1 grand for the session in the evening. You wanna budget that and keep that separate throughout every day of your stay. So how I do it is I get 5 envelopes, I put 2,000 in each envelope or whatever amount it is that you're comfortable with, and I put that in my safe. So day 1, I pull out 1,000 and that's all I have in my wallet. So that way it's easy for me to not dig into my pocket when I get felted or when I go broke, if I go broke. But I take that 1,000 for the morning session and then I play whatever profits I win, I put it right back into the envelope. In the evening when I play, I take the other 1,000 and I start playing. And whatever I win or lose, if I lose that, that's gone. But if I win again, all that profits I take, With the 1,000 plus profits, I put it all in that envelope, and that's day one. On day two, take the second envelope. You know you have $2,000 in there. Take the first 1,000 out. Play with that first 1,000 in your morning session. If you win again, take your profits plus the 1,000, put it back in the envelope. In the evening again, when you play again, take that other 1,000, play that again, and then same thing all the way through the whole 5 days of your stay. That helps with proper money management. So try it out, see if that works. It helped me throughout my whole craps playing days. Another tip is to keep your craps bankroll separate from all your other activities that you do while you're in Vegas, like your shopping, restaurants you're eating at, slot machines, all the other things. You want to keep that separate. That way you can track your craps budget more accurately and don't commingle your other funds with your craps budget. But that's only if you're like me and you want to know the numbers and you want to look at the results. But it's a good practice. Keep your other extra activities in Las Vegas separate from your craps budget. The second thing you need to know as a craps player is betting strategy. Having a betting strategy is super important and goes hand in hand with proper money management. Now, betting strategy is not just how you bet or how much you bet. Also, it's when you bet and who you bet. So what I mean by that is you gotta know the table. So when I get to the craps table, I like to feel out the table, just like a poker game. You wanna know the players on the table, who you're playing with. Craps is a team sport. So you gotta know who is the dice controllers, who are the chicken feeders, who are the rhythm rollers, who's just the lucky guys, who are the drunk guys. You gotta know all of that, and you gotta put that in your database so that you know how to strategize your betting strategy. By having that kind of information, that is golden, because now you know how to apply your betting strategies. You're not gonna bet on a random roller like you're gonna bet on you as a dice controller, obviously. So that will give you an added advantage to making more money. So adjust your betting strategies. I'm not gonna go into betting strategies, but know what to bet and when to bet. That is important with your betting strategies. Having a betting strategy is good, but don't have a complicated betting strategy. What I mean by that is you don't want to go here, there, up there, all there, and take it down, bring it back up, regress, press, all that kind of stuff. You don't want it too complicated, especially when a person is on a hot roll. When someone's throwing a monster roll, rolling 20 plus rolls, and you're gonna go in there and disrupt his rhythm just because you want to take it down from 240 across to 64 across, or take down all my bets, and the dealer starts stacking it, taking some time, especially when it's a full table, and then you ice the shooter. Now, nothing is wrong with that. I understand that's your money, but don't ice the shooter. I mean, again, it's a team sport. You gotta go with the flow. Go with the flow. Don't have a complicated system to where it'll slow down the game. Or just turn them off. Or just do it during a point change, or just do it when they make their point or someone cashes in. That way you got some time. But don't have a too much complicated betting strategy that you ruin the whole mojo of the shooter. So that's just a tip from me. The third and last thing that you should know as a crap shooter is obviously dice control. So now dice control, a lot of crap shooters, they say it's a myth. There's no dice control. Dice control doesn't exist. But if dice control didn't exist, then why would we have these diamond backs? Because the casinos try to make it random. They know dice control exists. They know that there are players out there with the skills to control the dice. That's why they have these Diamondbacks to randomize their dice control. So this is one true fact why dice control exists. Another reason why I support dice control is because of how the pit bosses harass me. They wouldn't harass me if they didn't believe in dice control themselves. I would hit the wall 8 times, and then on the 7th time, because they see that I set the dice, I'm throwing consistent. If I hit it the 9th time and one dice doesn't hit it, he jumps off his chair and he says, "You need to hit the wall with the 2 dice or else I'm not letting you shoot." 1 out of 9 times? Come on now, but that's just how they are. They just know when you are a controlled shooter. I think they train them to know who the controlled. I've had pit bosses whisper to another pit boss saying, "Hey, this guy's a professional." I overhear them saying that when I'm not even a professional. This is my hobby, this is what I do. But for them to recognize dice controllers, that's another reason why dice control exists. So never mind that myth when people say dice control doesn't exist. They do exist, so don't believe them. When you start getting good at dice control, you're gonna get harassed as well. So if you can control the dice and you are rolling really good and consistently and for a long time, you're gonna bring on the heat. Trust me, I get harassed at a lot of different casinos. Some casinos are friendly and they will encourage you, hit your numbers, and cheer along with you. But mostly they won't be cheering for you. They will be having you under the microscope. They'll be watching you like a hawk. So that is added pressure again. So you gotta have to learn to deal with that pressure. Those of you who throw at home, you don't have that pressure. But when you get to Vegas, the pressure is super high. And when you get everybody on the table watching you, it's hard to adjust because you have never experienced that at home in your home games or at your home practice tables. But that's something you should expect and be able to adjust. Their job is to get under your skin no matter what. Try to ice the shooters. One time I had a stick man have his stick all the way out like this while I was shooting on a monster roll. 20 plus rolls already, and he had his stick like this, and I had to ask him, "Excuse me, can you lift up your stick?" So he lifts up his stick like this and he starts tapping on the table. And it's crazy. They do a lot of crazy things. I even had a dealer clap when I throw. So once I throw, he claps his hand, and it's like, you still need to be focused. There's nothing illegal with what they're doing, but they'll distract you. And again, another evidence that dice control exists, because they will try and disrupt you as much as you can. As a dice controller, make sure you set the dice quickly. Usually within 5 seconds would be good once you pass the dice. So practice at home. When the dice come to you, you should already know how to configure it, know where all the numbers go, and set your set really quick. So the pit boss gets pissed off when someone takes forever to set their dice. They'll pass the dice, they'll take the dice like this, and they'll flick it like this, and they will take their time. And but by the time after 30 seconds, they grab the dice and they shake it up. What the heck? I hate that. But when you get the dice, set it real quick, find your set up, and throw. You want it to go quickly so they don't have a reason to harass you and say, "Man, you're taking too long. Sir, set the dice quicker. Sir, throw the dice," and then get under your skin. So set the dice. Under 5 seconds is appropriate. Anything over that, you need to work on your dice set. So work on your set. Don't throw short. When you throw short, by right, they can definitely kick you off the table, because the rules of craps is you gotta hit the wall with both dice. I used to get upset in the beginning, but a buddy of mine told me they have every right to tell you to hit the wall. Don't let your emotions get the best of you. hit the wall. You don't hit the wall, apologize, let them know, I'm sorry, I'll try to hit the wall again. But if they know you're trying to do it on purpose, that's what they're already assuming. They're gonna come after you and they're gonna start harassing you and telling you hit the wall and all that kind of stuff. But you know, address it early. And I've done it before. I've addressed it early and said, sorry I didn't hit the wall. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's you guys need to turn off your magnet under the table. I joke around like that too, but they find it funny. They know it wasn't on purpose. Kind of settles the nerves and, you know, keeps the good positive vibes on the table. So, but hit the wall. You got to hit the wall. I understand you're not going to hit it. You're not a perfect thrower, but always try to hit the wall and not come up short all the time. So in summary, you're probably gonna need to know all three to be a successful craps player. But you can have 2 out of the 3 and still be successful. You can have good money management and betting strategy and not be a good dice controller, because you can survive and bet off the other dice controllers. That's why I have the 2 in the beginning. Dice controlling is the third thing that is like the icing on the cake. So you have the money management, you have the betting strategy, and the dice control comes on the top as the icing on the cake. So when you can start controlling the dice, that's where you make the added bonus money in craps. So understand the 2 pillars are money management and betting strategy, and dice control comes up on the top as the icing on the cake. If you can learn all 3, and you can master all 3, I can say you'll be a successful craps player. Thank you for watching Hawaii Craps Shooters. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so that you won't miss out on any of my weekly videos. Aloha.